So it's been a crazy year. And one of the things that happened this year was the new iPhones released, and there was a lot of limited stock throughout the country. I even had to wait a little while longer to get mine when I ordered it back in October. So now that it's a new year, and hopefully things are going to be on the brighter side, and phones are going to be more in stock and more available, I figured I'd do this video now finally. When you get a new Apple device, you may get free subscriptions depending on where you buy your phone from or where you buy accessories from. You get Apple Music for free from like Best Buy. I think you get like 3 months free for new users and stuff like that. And I've been using Apple Arcade for some time because my phone plan actually gave me our Apple Arcade all the way up to 2023. So I want to do this list of 10 Apple Arcade games that I've tried. I tried a bit more. These are the 10 that made the list this time. And it's not so much as a top 10, just 10 games that I found from the least fun to the most fun type of experience. And if you do enjoy this video, I will be working hopefully on another top 10 Apple Arcade video because, you know, throughout time, as time goes on, more and more games are added to Apple Arcade. Now, if you don't have a subscription included with a phone plan, I believe it's $10 a month or $5 a month it might be. But you can also do the Apple One subscription, which is a bundle price. But like I said, I have mine included. And I want to start this list with number 10 being kind of disappointing for me as a fan of the series. And that is Castlevania Grimoire of Souls. Now, this was a kind of a different type of Castlevania game in terms of story as well as a bit of gameplay. It is more level based like the old school Castlevania games, but it does include almost every character from the franchise. And that was one of the good things about this game, was the characters that's included, as well as, I guess, the story behind it all, where Alucard is going around as a different identity and he has to help some spellcaster with this magic book where, you know, the dark magic exists in. So it's a lot of craziness in the story. But my problem with the game was some of the controls. I use a Razer Kishi, as well as you know, sometimes I use a PlayStation controller. If the game is available on Mac, I will play on Mac as well. And this game had pretty crappy controls. The movement was very slow. It wasn't as fluid and comfortable. I was hoping for more of the newer styles, where it's kind of just the, you know, the Metroidvania styles, free run throughout the castle type of thing. So that was a bit disappointing to me. There's also a lot going on in terms of the introduction and going through the tutorials of the game, and there's just so many things that they throw at you that you're just going through tons and tons of dialogue and you just want to get through it and start the game. So that is number 10 for me, is Castlevania Grimoire of Souls. Number 9 is a SpongeBob game. I don't remember the name of it. I'll just put the title here somewhere. But here's my problem with this game. It is a Mario style platformer game, but the problem is the automatic running. SpongeBob will run automatically without you having to touch anything on the analog stick or movement button, whatever. And it just felt weird for the style of gameplay. I don't want to have the character run on its own if it's not an endless runner. If it was an endless runner, I would understand that. But it's not. It's a 2D platforming game that I just wasn't comfortable with. And, you know, granted, I am a grown man playing SpongeBob, but, you know, SpongeBob was a pretty dope character. He's a very well-known, I guess by now, classic character. But another problem with this game was there was a lot of weird, uncomfortable moments as well. But, you know, I guess that's SpongeBob for you. But I think the biggest problem I had for this game was the automatic running, and the levels do feel kind of empty. They don't really feel packed. There are enemies you have to battle throughout the levels. There's just not that much, from what I could see, in each level, as well as that much variety. There really isn't a lot of variety in the enemies. You do get to unlock the different characters as you progress through the game, and they will run with you in the levels, and each one has their own, I guess, abilities to help you out. And there is a decent amount of levels to this game. There's like, I think 5 different worlds. Each world has maybe 7 and up levels, like 7 to 10 levels, something like that. So there is a good amount of gameplay here. It's just not amazing gameplay to me when you can compare it to like Mario or Sonic type of thing. Number 8 on this list is Skate City. Now, I played Skate City for a while back, you know, way back a few months ago, when I had the whole Tony Hawk fever. And this game isn't terrible, but you're better off playing a Tony Hawk game or Skate on a console. As for a mobile skateboarding game, yes, this is probably the best skateboarding game on mobile. But it's also available on Switch, even though the Switch version is a bit overpriced in my opinion. And the controls can be a little clunky in terms of trying to do different tricks. You do have different levels with different goals you have to complete. I don't think there was a time limit for these goals necessarily. And there are some interesting levels in the game, but again, for a skateboarding game, I really wouldn't play one on mobile. I'd rather play it on console. But you know, it made the list. So, number 7, Samurai Jack. Now, yes, this game is also available on console, and it's really great here depending on your device. Now, the reason why I say that is because I did play it on my phone and my Mac, and there was a lot of frame rate issues when playing on the phone. I have a 13 Pro Max, as you may know. I do have an M1 Mac Mini. Not many frame rates that I could see, so it did run much more smoothly on the Mac, which would make sense if there was like 2 different versions of the game, but it's the same game on both, you know, platforms. So there was that issue with the game. The combat was, you know, simple, but I didn't think it was as deep of a combat system. And like I said, it is available on consoles. I think they were about $40 at release. So it'll probably be a better experience on console anyway. But if you are looking for a game with your Apple Arcade subscription, it's only number 7 on the list, so it's not terrible. And like I said, you're better off playing it on a Mac, maybe on an iPad as well. Don't play it on the phone. That frame rate is really bad. Number 6, Inmost. I almost gave up on this game. When I first played it, I had some issues with the controls, because the controls, if you thought I had problems with the controls in Castlevania, the controls were worse here in my opinion. The movement was much more slower, you know, for most parts of the game. The way you traverse through the game with certain jumps was just kind of bad, but I stuck with it. I ended up finding my way through different levels when I got lost, and this game is pretty creepy. So if you're looking for a creepy experience, you do get some creepy moments here, and the art style is actually really interesting. I actually like the art style. Now, I'll admit, I did not put as much time as I wanted to put into the game, and I am hoping to put more time into it. I just need more time to do it, given, you know, my work schedule and everything else going on. But this game did make the list at number 6. It's very creepy. The art style was great. It is available on Mac and iPhone as well. There is a really good respawn system, so if you die, you don't have to worry about repeating a lot. You do respawn fairly close to where you died. Other than that, there is some puzzles in the game. It can be a puzzling experience, and that's what makes it fun as well when you know what you gotta do. It's one of those, you may get frustrated when you can't figure it out, and then when you finally do and you progress and you see some more creepy stuff happening, it's great at that point. Number 5 is Oceanhorn 2. If you know anything about this game, it's being known as the mobile Zelda clone, and it has no jumping. Again, a game that I didn't really put a lot of time into it, only because I rather played Breath of the Wild than this game. As far as I could see, there really wasn't much story given to me in terms of who I am, what am I doing, where am I going type of thing. So maybe this should have been 6 and Inmost should have been 5, but there is a better gameplay experience in Oceanhorn 2, being a, you know, an open 3D action adventure game. I believe it's open world as well. They did compare it to both Breath of the Wild in some aspects, as well as Wind Waker in other aspects. I never played Wind Waker, so I can't comment on that. But this is one of the higher rated Apple Arcade games, so, you know, if you like Zelda, you may like this. I'm not the biggest Zelda guy, so that was just for me, you know, that's how it was. Number 4, The Last Campfire. Now, This game does have a really great art style, a very interesting story. It was just the problem I have with this game. Like I said, it's not like best to worst. It's just 10 games I listed in an order I felt like they deserve. The problem with this game was the narration. The majority of the game is narrated, and the voice is kind of annoying. But there are some difficult puzzles in the game, and there are some interesting background stories. Like there's a story about a fisherman, and he met a frog, and I guess over time the frog became a giant. And there's just really nice, interesting stories in this game. Very cool puzzles, interesting character design, interesting level design. Not very expansive in levels, but very interesting design. And this is a game that you should, maybe give it a shot. Number 3, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I had one problem with this game, and that was that it crashed when I played it on my Mac. But it has really great anime style cutscenes. It has a pretty interesting gameplay with a card system. There are included cheat codes you can use. I haven't tried them yet. Character designs are, as you may know from the series, sexy genie characters. I guess that's what they want to call it, half genies. But the game was fun, 2D side-scrolling platforming type of game. I do believe it's an interesting story. I believe the story, if I remember correctly, is I don't remember if the powers got stolen or some of the genies got stolen or something. I'm kind of just my whole comment on the story is kind of crashing on itself type of thing, because I don't really remember the story exactly. But the one thing I do remember from the story is they were trying to go on this island for a vacation, and then there was like a ceremony that the half genies had to dance for, and that's when everything just falls to crap. The main villain from the series, I can't remember her name, but she's here. And like I said, very cool anime art style, especially with the cutscenes. Pretty fun gameplay. Like I said, it did crash on my Mac, and it didn't crash on my phone as far as I saw. So that was number 3 on my list. Number 2, this one is interesting for me because I'm not a sports fan at all, but NBA 2K22. Now, keep in mind, I am horrible in basketball, both in life and in video games. But this game had some of the best graphics, gameplay, and performance on these devices. Now, most of the players may not look 100% like their life counterparts, but when you're playing this game, you know which one is LeBron, you know which one is Steph Curry, you know KD, you know Blake Griffin, etc., etc. So some of the characters, the players do look a little bit funny. LeBron looks a little bit funny compared to, the other console versions, and of course this game is on console as well. But I had fun playing basketball on my phone and on my computer, and I'm not a sports guy at all. And I had a lot of fun playing this. This was almost number 1 on my list because of how great the experience was. The sound quality, the gameplay, the players that was included, everything about it was amazing for me. Now, of course, the performance is not as great as consoles, obviously, but it was still great performance, great gameplay, great graphics. Everything was great about it. So do be sure to give this game a try, even if you're not a sports fan. Like I said, I'm not a sports fan. I know nothing about basketball. I don't know the positions. I don't know the calls. Nothing. And I had fun with this game. Number 1. Now, I do believe this game is also on Switch. And the weird thing about this game was you had to play it in portrait mode, not landscape mode. But it's called Alba. And it was a very fun, cute adventure game where you're taking pictures of animals, and you're meeting characters, and you're helping other people. Like, one of the things we had to do was help, I think it was like a whale that got washed up on shore, or it was a dolphin, some kind of sea creature, and we had to help that animal, whatever you want to call it, get back to the water. You do use your phone's gyroscope for certain things, like taking the phone to take pictures of animal species that you can then discover what they are. And it had a very fun gameplay style, very cute art style as well. You play as this little girl and she's, I guess, with her grandparents on a vacation or something. And it's a really fun experience. But like I said, I think it is available on Switch, or at least a different version was on Switch. But this was my number 1 because it was the one I had the most fun with, the one I played the most. It was just a really great experience overall, and I was happy with that experience. Now, I did try some other games as kind of like bonus games to list. One of them was Shinsekai, which is that Capcom underwater game. it's on console, you're better off playing it on there. But it does run pretty smoothly and great here. I did try Hot Lava, and Hot Lava was hot garbage. I know it's a bad joke, but it really wasn't a great game. The graphics were ugly. The gameplay was not that great. It's heavily platform based in a 3D environment, and it was cool in terms of the 3D environment and how the camera is first person and everything. But the performance was just not good. The graphics was not great. The level designs were just bland, and I originally thought it was an AR game, and I think there is like an AR mode for your house. That's what I thought it was originally, but don't really bother with Hot Lava. Just don't. I did also try Fantasia, which is like a top-down dungeon RPG by Square Enix. I'm not really into those kind of games. I didn't really like it. I think it may be connected to the Nier Automata series or the Nier Replicant series, whichever, you know, that series. I think it's connected to that, maybe. And that's why I tried it, but it just wasn't for me. So I didn't like it. But like I said, there is more games being added to the service, and I am going to try some of these games down the road and maybe do another top 10 list for you guys. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's 2022. We're trying to get things right back into it, you know, going strong. Try to get more videos out there for you guys. Let's try to reach that 300 subscriber count. I'm Anthony Online Tech, and I will see you guys next time.